Hey guys, welcome into today's video. Today we are going to be testing the new Soft Pinch Luminous Powder Blush from Rare Beauty. I did pick up all 6 of the shades, so we are going to be testing all 6 of these shades. I'll preface this with, I was pretty convinced that I was going to get all 6 of the shades because I'm such a fan of Selena and most of what Rare Beauty puts out, but currently I'm quite obsessed with luminous blushes, both in cream, well, I guess not both, but all in cream, liquid, powder. The only thing that I generally worry about is overemphasis of texture on the face. I used to stay away from luminous blushes exclusively because of the emphasized texture that those kinds of products gave. So we're going to do some swatches, we're going to do a try on of all the colors. I will do some close-up shots for you guys. I am working in as much natural light as I pretty much can at this time of day so that you guys can see what this looks like close up as well as I can in natural light. I may do a check-in with one of the shades on my phone so you guys can also see how it looks in real light. I do want to talk a little bit about these. First, I did watch a short on her Instagram that essentially was alluding to the fact that she wanted to take 2 of her favorite products and mix them together, which was the Soft Pinch Liquid Blush and then her Positive Light Silky Touch highlighters. So the description here says, unexpectedly smooth and incredibly weightless, the airy blush goes on seamlessly for a pinch perfect flush that seems to radiate from within. Highly pigmented base is packed with brilliant pearls for natural looking dimension, no flaking, caking, or fallout. Easy to blend, build color, or diffuse for a softer effect without ever looking chalky or ashy. Transfer proof, smudge proof, water resistant formula keeps you blushing all day. Hand polished, so each powder is as unique as you are. It does say for an even more intense flush, lay over the Soft Pinch Liquid Blush. All of these are made in Italy and all have a 12-month shelf life to them. It's the exact same style packaging as the Positive Light Silky Touch highlighters, but in this case, the distinction here is that these are a matte finish, whereas the Positive Light Silky Touch highlighters do have a glossy finish to this compact, but they're the same size, same look, same shape to them. And each of them do retail for $26 both on her website and on Sephora's website. The only thing that I'm concerned about is that many people say that the Positive Light Silky Touch highlighters are very fragile and many of them have broken. I have 2 of the Positive Light Silky Touch highlighters and neither of them have broken, but this particular one, Enjoy, is a mess. So I feel like this one must have arrived broken on me. It had to have. It's a hot mess. So this was the only thing I was concerned about in shipping these because they did not have them at my local Sephora. My local Sephora is like a half an hour away and they don't stock new releases very quickly. Yes, this one did come broken. I haven't even opened these yet. I don't know this formula well enough to know whether or not it can be repressed, but give me a moment and I will definitely try. I think all the other ones are safe, but I'm gonna set that one aside because I'm definitely going to contact Sephora and get a refund. They sent all of these in a box, very, very loosely packed. There was like paper mailer that goes in it, but there wasn't any additional packaging. There's no protection. As you may know, Sephora doesn't use any bubble wrap, and they probably should for instances like this. And it's not very often that I get Sephora items broken, just occasionally, but because these are so fragile, I have to think that Sephora's replaced a number of the Positive Touch Silky highlighters in the past and probably should have packed these with better care. All right, let's get into doing some swatching. I had to close the window because I was getting one of those like rainbow reflections from the mirror kind of on my skin. So hopefully the lighting is still good for you guys. Let's go ahead and swatch Cheer, which is described as a light, warm pink. So far, this one, which looks like a lighter shade when you're looking online, has a decent amount of base pigment to it. It's shimmery, but it's not without base. So it has some decent pigmentation. My only fear here is that it might cast a little bit icy in certain lights, but that one is Cheer. I'm going in order how she has them listed on the website. So this next one is Hope, which is described as a nude mauve. They are an extremely creamy formula. There is Hope. Super silky, same as the highlighters. No change in formulation here. This next one is Happy. It's described as a cool pink. I am going to swatch the next one in Joy, so I'm not gonna be able to hold that one up because I couldn't fully repress it. It's not exactly the kind of powder that likes to be repressed. It's because it's very, very soft. But that one is Joy, a muted peach. I think I'm actually most excited for these last two shades because they are the deeper tones, which I'm really into right now. And that one is Truth, which is described as a mauve maroon. And this last one is in Love. Terracotta is what it's described as. They appear to have great base pigment. It was really difficult to tell when I was looking at the pictures online as to whether or not these were going to have mostly shimmer or have some decent base pigment. As the swatches get down farther on my arm, they look smoother. Kind of up here on my hands, which are a little bit drier, they definitely look like they're emphasizing texture. So I don't know if that's indicative of the lighter shades and that the deeper shades are a bit smoother. I mean, that's kind of how it looks on my swatches. We'll see once it gets to my cheeks. So let's get into the cheek swatches. For reference, you guys, I have on the L'Oreal True Match Super Blendable Foundation N1 Neutral Light. I do want to put these blushes on top of foundation so you can see what they look like all put together. But also, I do want to throw on a light bit of bronzer. I'm always wearing some type of bronzer and I would like to see how these blushes sit on top of it. So I'm using the Rare Beauty bronzing stick, and this one is in Bright Side. So this is the cooler version of the lightest tone, and I just put on a very light application of this. Oftentimes, depending upon the undertone of the bronzer, it can change kind of the undertone of the blush once it gets to my skin. So I wanted to demonstrate a truer indication of what this would look like on top of my normal everyday makeup application. Let's get into applying these. I'm going to apply them in the exact same order that I swatched them out. So the first one that we're gonna go into is Cheer, which was the light warm pink. I have seen them put this on with the Rare Beauty Soft Pinch blush brush, so I'm going to at least do that for one shade, but I do have other brushes here to apply this with. In case you guys don't have this kind of brush, I wanted to demonstrate with some other styles, and most of these are pretty affordable brushes in case you don't have this one. All right, so a light warm pink. I think I'm just going to tap these shades on. This one is definitely an interesting one. It has some multi-dimension to it. It's not entirely one-toned. It almost kind of looks like it has a little bit of blue to it. This one just has a lot more translucence because it's such a lighter shade, and it's definitely emphasizing the texture on my cheeks in this particular color. I don't think it's emphasizing it more than the highlighter did, if that helps you guys, if that's like a baseline for reference. But I'd say there's more translucence to this shade than there is real base pigment, which is kind of what we saw in the swatch. But that one is Cheer, a light warm pink. Let's go into Hope next, which is the nude mauve. And I'm going to take one of my e.l.f. angled brushes to apply this. See how this picks up, see how it pats down. A lot more product seems to come up on this one. Harder to tell though, this one has black bristles, so. I personally like that one a lot better. I think it has a stronger base. It's a nude mauve, but on my skin, it looks very warm toned, at least from this distance. Nice amount of base pigment, and quite honestly, it looks a lot smoother on the skin, a lot less textured than the side Cheer. Primarily, I think because this is just a little bit more icy on this cheek this doesn't have as much iciness in the pigmentation. To me, it just looks a lot less textured from this distance. I enjoy this, even though it looks a little bit more warm on my skin tone. But that one is Hope, a nude mauve. Okay, we're back with a fresh coat of paint. Let's go into the next two shades. So I'm gonna go into Happy, which is the cool pink. And here I'm going to take an Eco Tools, another affordable brush. This is just an angled powder brush. It's clean, but I have often used it for my blushes because I think it's a perfect blush brush. Nice and angled, really fluffy. I like that. So this one, yes, cool pink. I built that one up a lot more than I feel like I did the other two. That one has a little bit of iciness too. Kind of same thing that I saw on the swatch initially, is that this one seemed to have maybe a little bit more texture, a little bit more translucence to it. I think I really like this shade because it's just so neutral. It's so cool that it looks really flattering. I kind of like this one because it's just a fresher, kind of cooler tone on my skin. And even though it has like that iciness, and it definitely does emphasize some of the texture on my cheeks, for me personally, it's not bothersome. I've gotten used to the texture on my face and I don't feel the way about it that I used to, which is why I stayed away from shimmery blushes once upon a time. I think I really enjoy this one. I think maybe so far this one is my favorite of the three that we've tried. So that one is Happy, cool pink. All right, let's go into Joy, which is the muted peach next, and see what we can do here. So I am taking one of my Sephora Pro blush brushes in 93. It's again an angled, fluffier brush. I love brushes like this for applying my blush because I feel like it hugs perfectly. This one's maybe a little bit smaller. I'm gonna dip straight into Joy, but I might end up patting it off because it's gonna pick up a ton of the loose product. All right, I've tapped off quite a bit. Let's go in. That one is just such a beautiful color. I just kept building and building. I really enjoyed it. I think you can sheer this color out, but I also think you can build it up pretty intense. I personally didn't like Joy in the Soft Pinch Liquid Blush because I just felt like it was a little bit too intense of a shade on my skin tone personally. But something about this, just adding a little bit of gold infused in the color, making it a little bit more icy, that it's a powder formula. I'm really enjoying this. I like the way that it's just sitting on my cheeks. As far as texture goes, still there, still present, but as I mentioned, I really enjoy the way that this looks in this powder blush formula much more than I thought it was going to be. And by the way, it looks quite deep when you're looking at the remaining particles here. Joy just always tended to be a deeper shade anyway. This one I'm just thoroughly enjoying, and orangey colors right now are kind of in, and especially with spring upon us, this might be a shade I reach for quite a bit. Let's hit the redo button and let's get the next two on. Okay, we are set with that. Let's move into the two deepest shades. The next one we're going to go into is Truth, which is that maroon mauve. And this time I'm going into a fluffier Eco Tools brush. This is the Plush Powder Brush. I use this for all sorts of things depending upon how I want to sweep the product across my face. But I'm going to like kind of lightly tap this into the product because this is a deeper shade. Not that I dislike deeper shades on me. I feel like I can just control it a little bit better with this brush. That's definitely going to work for a deeper skin tone, and I think it has a decent amount of base pigment to it. I think you can use this shade if you have a fairer skin tone and really just go in with a light hand. I was going in a little bit harder than I really needed to, but this is made for a deeper complexion. I still feel like if you went in with a little bit of a lighter hand, you could still get away with this shade. However, I feel like Hope, the nude mauve, is better suited for lighter skin tones. And you get a similar effect with this because I think they're both fairly warm toned. It still emphasizes the texture, but all of them relatively the same amount to me, but that is truth. All right, on to the final shade. I'm gonna take that Rare Beauty brush again, the soft pinch blush brush for Love, which doesn't look terribly dissimilar to Joy. It's a little bit hard to tell because it's broken, but kind of looking in the pan, it looks very similar. This is a terracotta shade. I don't think this is terribly dissimilar to Joy. I think the intent here was that Love was going to be made as a terracotta shade for maybe deeper skin tones, and then Joy would work for lighter skin tones, but I think they look very similar on the cheeks. I may have even gone in lighter with Love than I did with Joy. I still feel like a lighter skin tone could get away with this. This one I definitely built up, and I can see it back in the viewfinder's pretty heavy application. But this one I went in with a little bit lighter layer. For whatever reason, this one just seems the smoothest on my skin. I don't know what that's about, but it does. Anyway, that one is Love. I just took them off and I threw Hope back on. I just felt like it looked the best with this eye look. It's like a warm pinky shade. Don't know that I would necessarily call this a mauve, a nude mauve. But that is the end of the try on, you guys. I will show you a clip in natural light of what my cheeks look like, at least with this shade Hope on, so that you guys can see truly what the texture looks like up close and personal. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'd love to hear whether or not you're interested in picking up any of these blushes, what shades you are interested in getting if you are interested in picking them up. I am out of here for today, you guys, and I hope to catch you all in my next video. Bye.